Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm Susan Smith. You're in my studio, Stitched by Susan, and I see lots of you are commenting already. Fantastic. Let me scroll back. Jeannie, hi from Missoula. Chrissy, morning from Australia. Awesome. Rosie, Southwest Mississippi. Carlene in Boise, Idaho. Mary in Arkansas. Janelle in Wyoming. Linda in Kansas. Pam in sunny Ontario. As you can see, it's very sunny here too. Look at it on my ear. Marlene is in Nova Scotia, Canada. Vonnie in Colfax, Washington, practically a neighbor. Patsy in Florida. Fantastic. Well, welcome to my studio. I'm just going to change the camera a bit, set my coffee down. It's kind of an odd angle, isn't it? There we go. This morning, I wanted to talk honestly with you again. Oh my word, the sun has just picked up a glare. Hang on a sec. I guess we're going to have to live with it. I can't really fix it without leaving camera and whatever. So this is casual. You guys will be okay with it, yeah? Yesterday, I live streamed the quilting of a project, which I have right here. Let me make sure I have it right side up. See this little car? Yeah. I live streamed that on YouTube and Facebook, and it was one of those days, which we long armers have, we quilters, where everything, well, I shouldn't say everything went wrong. I was having thread breaks and never really did get to resolve it. Okay, I've found a solution for the light. See, when I go forward, it's there. So hang on, we're gonna just move the whole tripod apparatus a little bit. There we go, get rid of some of that glare. Okay, so I'm on air yesterday quilting live and thread breaks keep happening, top thread specifically. And it happened again and again and again and again and again. And viewers were chiming in all these different ideas and I was trying them and never really did find a solution. At the end of the show, I was on the last straight line because it's straight line quilting and it broke again and I decided to leave that line off. So I thought I would talk just a little bit this morning about some of the reasons, although we're not going to focus on that because there are so many. I put 50 reasons in the title. I'm sure there's at least that many, but kind of the number one approach that I take to resolving it. So again, here's what I was quilting. It's a single block and I was quilting it for a cushion. So I was doing irregularly spaced straight lines, and the thread breaks kept happening when I was going from left to right, which is kind of unusual, and I could not really determine the reason for them. So I would feel the thread catch in one stitch and it would break in the next one, just that fast. So here was kind of how I approached it yesterday. I tried one thing and then I would sew again, and I would try one thing and sew it again, and try one thing and sew it again. And here's what I mean when I say there's 50 reasons that could happen. There are so many variables. Think of your bobbin, only the bobbin, for example. You know, is your bobbin, have you changed type of bobbin thread, which I had, which might have been the issue. So changing weight, for example. Is the bobbin correctly tensioned? Is the bobbin over full? So are rotations of the thread falling down? Is the bobbin threaded correctly? Is there any lint under the check spring? Is there any lint in the collar? Do you need oil in the bobbin area of the machine? Is there any lint in that area of the machine? And I could go on and on and on, and these are all just bobbin variables. You know, same thing for the top. It could be the needle size. It could be, is the needle pointed correctly? In some long arms, you can adjust that. It could be the threading. It could be any burrs. It could be your thread has come out of one of the thread guides. And in any of those events, it can be how those things are combined, right? So it could be your needle size relative to your thread size. It could be your top thread size relative to your bobbin thread size. All these things play into forming a good stitch or causing thread to break. So here's my number one tip when you're trying to diagnose that and figure that out. And that is to try one thing at a time in order to narrow it down and in order to finally know what the problem was. I tried so many things yesterday. If you want to see that, you can go back and watch it. Gosh, I can't even remember what the title is anymore, but it has a picture of this little car in the thumbnail. And I'll probably change the title to something crazy about all the stuff that went wrong anyways. But that was just aired yesterday. And if you go back and watch it, you'll see that I tried a lot of things. Viewers gave me some great ideas. Some of the ones that came in were as unexpected as, for example, I drive a Bernina, which you're seeing over my shoulder. Try using just the Pro needles and not just the universal Schmetz needles. It so happens that I was using a Pro needle, so clearly that was not the issue. S Powers is typing in, you were such a trooper yesterday. You know, it's kind of funny, backtracking a little bit, rabbit trailing a little bit. The overwhelming comments on that episode yesterday, and if you go back and look at it in YouTube or Facebook, you will see this. The overwhelming comments are, thanks for going ahead and showing that it's real, it's normal for stuff like that to happen. It's not just me. When my machine is giving me fits, it's not just me. And so, you know, if I could be of service and encourage you in that way, great, I've succeeded. It was a frustrating day, for sure it was. And I have not fully solved the thing yet. Among all the things I tried yesterday, one of them was to, I had put 80 weight thread both top and bottom. And so I changed out that bobbin for my more usual 40 weight thread. That did not solve the problem either. So when I next go to quilt, which will probably be later today, the first thing I'm going to do is kind of get a reset. I'm going to go back to my most common thread, most common needle, and load those up and see, is everything working right? And that will help me to eliminate, is it something mechanical in the machine or not? If it is something mechanical, it will still keep happening. If not, then already, can you see, I've narrowed it down. Then it's okay. It must be the play of my sizes of thread or my tension, right? And in this way, by trying one thing at a time, I can diagnose a little bit and try to narrow down what that is. Dave's typing in a little behind the scenes. I did take a nap immediately after the show. It's true. It's, you know, it's funny, but I think it's human. Being on air live like that, there were a couple of hundred people watching, and I knew that. And, you know, it's frustrating, and you kind of feel like, why can't I figure this out? Why can't I get a solution? I should know better than this. It really was exhausting emotionally. So I did indeed. I crashed for a nap. Anyway, that is reality. That does happen to machine quilters, whether you're at a long arm or at your domestic machine or sit down. Sometimes this combination of thread, needle, bobbin, fabric, sometimes you've just got to work through, problem solve to get it right and resolve the issue. So again, I don't fully know what yesterday's was, but that's going to be my approach to try narrowing down what it is. And if by going to my baseline of threads, I can immediately take all the mechanical things off the table, that's a great way to start narrowing it down. Just a side note, on the thread too, I was actually talking to a Wonderfill representative earlier this week, and that's who makes the Deco Bob 80 weight thread that I was using. And I was mentioning to her that I was really enjoying using it in my bobbin. You can get so many yards on a bobbin. It's a fine weight, and so you can get away with kind of a mid-level color, and your top thread can be several shades on both sides of it, and it still looks great. All these reasons I love it in the bobbin. And she said, have you tried it in the top yet? You might like it because it's so fine, it's less visible than some other threads. So I'll show you the quilt block again. You can see I've got quite a bit of color gap in there. I've got the cream colored background, I've got the kind of fuchsia plummy car, and I've got as dark as charcoal, almost black in the wheels. So that was my train of thought. If I use this fine thread, it will not show up so visibly on those black wheels and on the plum car. It will just provide the lines of texture, the indentation of quilting without you seeing the thread, right? So that was my thought process. Perhaps it was a mistake to go into a live show using a combination of thread that I had not previously tried out. But there it is. That's the way I work in real life too. I just dive right in. So it did not work very smoothly yesterday, but I will keep persevering. I do know we quilters say often that machines tend to have personalities. They like certain things, they don't like certain things. So is this an indicator that my machine does not care for 80 weight thread top and bottom? That's not going to be my go-to solution. I feel like one of the things I love about the Bernina is that it is such a precision instrument. The engineering is so good. I always say it runs like a Cadillac. It really does. So I'm going to assume for the time being that it is not mechanical. It is not the machine. It's something that I need to figure out in terms of how those things are meshing, the thread, the needle, the bobbin, etc. So that wouldn't be my first fallback is, oh, my machine just doesn't like it, because machines are mechanical things. So, machines that have worn parts maybe do have preferences, but machines that are new and well-oiled and finely tuned should be able to handle these different threads. I just need to figure out what variables I need to change. So thread weights, bobbin winding, bobbin tension, needle size, all these things are things that I'm going to play with, and I'm going to try to figure it out. So I hope that this has been encouraging to you. If you want a big dose of encouragement, watch yesterday's episode. It'll make you feel a lot better about yourself, I promise. And let's just scroll back through the comments a minute more. Let's see, where did I leave off? My husband, good morning from the great upstairs. Tracy in Iowa. Einfachtine in Germany, welcome. Donna in North Carolina, some of you are faithful watchers. Marianne in La Riviere, Manitoba. Patricia in Oklahoma. Fabrication Quilting, Beth, Alberta. Joan in the UK. Michelle Phillips, a glorious morning in central Indiana. Clearly a glorious morning here too. You guys can see the sunshine shining in on me. Darlene in Buckley, Washington. Sandy, you were on top yesterday, a real hero. And Francisca from the Netherlands. So awesome. Okay, so I see you're not really having ideas, and I know you probably can't on the spur of the moment. Again, if you watch yesterday's episode, you'll see, if you watch in the chat, viewers were just chiming in ideas at me. And honestly, that episode is a pretty great resource for ideas. If you're having tension issues at your machine or thread breakages like I was having, it's not a bad idea to go back and read through those comments, because there was a lot of good ideas and good experience that showed up in those comments from the viewers. Barbara, I'm glad to hear you say that the machine doesn't have likes and dislikes. Most machines can be adjusted to sew what you want to sew, I think. I don't want to make too sweeping of a blanket statement, Barbara. I know machines do seem to have preferences, but you have to ask yourself, is that preference because of a worn part or because I don't have a good balance of tensions? I don't know. I'm not an expert in those things, but that's kind of the way my mind runs. So that's kind of it for today. Couple more things I want to tell you about. I am doing a workshop in just over 2 hours. Freehand Quilting Demystified. I am going to address 5 myths that tie freehand quilters in knots and how to break free of them. So reasons that quilters or wannabe quilters tell themselves, I could never quilt freehand. I'm not an artist. Whatever the reasons are, I've got them collected. I'm going to bring them to you. I've got photos and examples from my own experience and other students, and we're going to bust some of those myths, because I want you to know that if you want to quilt freehand, driving and doodling your machine, you absolutely can. It is absolutely a skill you can learn step by step. You can. So that's what that workshop is all about, the idea of freehand quilting, and that it's within reach for you. So it's at 10 a.m. Pacific time this morning, in about 2 hours from now, wherever you're watching, it'll still be in 2 hours. If you're interested in signing up for that and you haven't yet, I've made it really easy. I've made a page on my website called signup.stitchedbysusan.com. The workshop sign up is there. And also on Thursday, enrollment opened for my freehand quilting masterclass. This is my comprehensive online course that teaches a whole bunch of freehand quilting designs. There's just over 30 in that class, but it goes beyond that. Those designs are demoed and drilled down into and taught in depth, but also I talk about ways to practice, ways to really elevate and advance your skill and your precision at your machine, whether it's a long arm or a sit down machine. And I also talk at length about, I call it the theory of quilting. So what makes a good freehand design? What makes it easy to remember and repeat? How do you keep from quilting yourself into a corner? Lots of that theory. And how do you take your ideas, things that you see on wallpaper or tile floors or fabrics, and how do you create quilting designs from that? The idea being this is a springboard. So you've got 30 designs under your belt, but you go forth and create your own original work. So all of that is in that masterclass. So there's also a link on that sign up page, signup.stitchedbysusan.com, for the Freehand Quilting Masterclass. And if you want more information, that'll take you to a page that gives you a breakdown of everything that's in all the modules, lots of frequently asked questions, lots of information is there for you. So enrollment is open for that class right now and until sometime next week. I can't remember the last day off the top of my head. Sorry about that. So that's all there ready and waiting for you. It's time for me to go and get ready for the free workshop. I'm gonna, dress up just a little bit and put my contacts in and those sorts of things. And I'll be back in a couple of hours presenting that workshop. It is on YouTube. If you've registered, you'll be receiving a link to join it. If you're unsure about the time, you can actually go to that link now and YouTube will tell you what time it is in your local time zone. There's also going to be a link in your welcome email for a workbook that you can print, and it's just a place to take some notes and jot down some ideas as we go that can help you remember some of the things that I'm going to say. So all of that will come in the series of emails that'll come to you, and you'll get one, I think, right up until 15 minutes before, including that workbook. So you can do it till the last second you can register. Okay, I'm going to read through a couple more comments before I go. Mona in Kinder, Louisiana, bad thunderstorms today. Nancy, New York State. Did you find the answer to your problems of yesterday? Not yet. I have not quilted again since yesterday. Charmaine in Calgary, looking forward to the Mythbuster class. It's a workshop. Yep. Judy Hebert, good morning. Jean in Utah. You were fantastic yesterday as you tried your best to fix the problem. That's how I do it, one step at a time. Pamela, I was quilting yesterday while watching you and started having problems. Shut you off to deal with my thread breaking, turned you back on after I figured the problem out and started laughing. I wonder if it was in the air yesterday or in the water, the thread breakages. And Dave has put the link in the comments handily for you, signup.stitchedbysusan.com. And Carrie, good morning from Victoria, BC. So you guys, I'm going to get ready for my workshop, and also in happy news, our daughter and her husband and 2 little grandbabies are coming later today. So they are traveling across the state as we speak. I'm so excited about that. So whatever you're doing today, enjoy it thoroughly. Enjoy the sunshine if you're having it. Grin and bear the thunderstorms if you're having them. I'm going to get on to my cup of coffee, and I will see you all tomorrow again. Have a great day.